everyone, you're in the lab. I'm Brianna, and what's a road trip without gadgets? Boring. That's why Akash is here, and he's going to show you all the latest travel gadgets today on the lab.
It's time for the lab. I'm Leo Laporte, and this is the show where we're going to help you understand how technology works. Everything from computers and the internet to cell phones to gadgets on the road. I'm Leo Laporte. This is Brianna. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're going to have some fun today. We're going to show you how to write your own Xbox Live game. That's pretty cool. We've got a fellow who's actually done it. We're also going to talk about, with Alex Lindsay, about, what is Alex going to talk about? Getting geeky with Quartz Composer. I don't know what that means, but we'll find out. And as you mentioned, Akash is here. I was just in back looking at some of his stuff, some wild gadgets. But first, the most important part of the show, your calls. What do you have for us?
I have Glenn from Stellarton, Nova Scotia.
Thank you, Brianna. Hello, Glenn.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
Oh, not bad.
What can I do for you?
I have a question for you. I run Windows Vista.
Okay.
And I use Qt PDF Writer a lot.
Yeah, it's a great. I love that program.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah.
However, every once in a while, I'll print a Excel document using Qt PDF Writer, and I'm wondering if there's any type of freeware out there to convert my PDF back to Excel.
No. So you have some PDFs and you lost the spreadsheets.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't save data in a form that, can reconstitute the original. In many cases, a PDF is pretty much just a picture of the document. Best case, you'll be able to cut and paste the data, but the formulas, they're gone.
What about PowerPoint?
Well, same thing. I mean, what a PDF is essentially is a document that can't be modified, right? That's the whole point of it, and can be read by somebody who doesn't have the program. In order to make these PDFs work, they don't save any information. They don't save underlying formulas in Excel. They don't save transitions in PowerPoint. They just save the minimum that's needed to reproduce that page. So in PowerPoint, yeah, the graphics will be there. They may or may not be extractable depending on how you created the PDF. The text you may be able to drag your mouse over and copy and paste back into PowerPoint. But there's no way you can say, nobody can make a magic button that's going to say, here we go, here's your Excel spreadsheet back again, or here you go, here's your PowerPoint. It's going to take some work on your part, mostly because it didn't save a lot of the stuff that you want.
Okay.
I have bad news, I'm so sorry to say.
No, well, it's good news. Great to hear the answer.
Yeah, you don't have to spend any more energy thinking about it.
No, well, see, I've looked on the internet, and there are some programs out there, but you have to purchase them, and they'll only give you a trial run.
Yeah, and did you try the trial run?
Well, I did, and it seemed to work okay, but...
well, for instance, on a spreadsheet, the formulas are gone. They're not in the PDF.
Yeah, I never tried it for Excel, but I did try it for PowerPoint, and it seemed... Well,
that's a little different because, remember, PowerPoint is a graphics program and PDF is a graphics format. So it will save the image. Worst case, what it will do is we'll actually take the PDF page, make a graphic out of it, and put it in PowerPoint.
Okay.
Yeah, your slideshow is back, but all the transitions are gone. The text is no longer editable. You can't get the graphics out separately. If it's able to decompose the PDF, which a lot of times, it depends how the PDF is made. A lot of times you can do that. Then it can kind of try to duplicate it. It's not going to be the same slideshow that you think it is. It's going to be an image, a hollow imitation of it.
Okay.
So yeah, don't get your hopes up on that. It is easier to do PowerPoint because you'll lose whatever stuff doesn't get translated into the PDF. Things like transitions, those are gone. You're not going to get those back. Now, if you get the images back, but you can do that yourself. You can drag, save the images out, drag across the text, save that out, copy and paste it out, assuming that the PDF isn't locked down. Everything that program can do, you can do. If it's a 100 slide show, maybe it'd be worth paying for, but I wouldn't.
Okay.
All right?
Sounds good.
Hey, thanks for the call. I really appreciate it. Take care, Glenn.
Take care.
Okay. Now we're going to take a break, Come back in just a little bit. Alex Lindsay is here. He's going to show you something about Quartz. It's built into all Macintoshes and allows you to do some pretty cool thing without any programming. Alex explains how when the lab continues. Welcome back to the lab. Alex is making some cool effects in there in his Macintosh. Alex Lindsay is the head and founder of the Pixel Corps, a great guild of artists who do amazing things in 2D, 3D, video, podcasting. Now, you're going to show us something that comes with every Mac.
It does, but most people don't put it on.
Don't even know they have it.
They don't even know they have it. And so one of the things that's really interesting about the way Apple's kind of approached programming is that they, when they started moving into OS X, they built Xcode and all these other tools that you could use, and they basically said you're going to have to use these. We're going to give them away, but you're going to have to use them to really develop for the operating system.
Right.
And so people have been getting used to them, but they come when you install with your Leopard disk on a Mac. There is or Tiger or whatever you have there. There's a developer tools. It's a separate installation.
Right.
And if you install it, you get all the tools you need to build Photoshop. I mean, like literally, I mean, you could build something really, really big, but that's a lot for most of us to get started.
So let's take a small bite. Let's first describe what Quartz is.
Quartz is the graphics infrastructure that a lot of it's like a real-time graphics infrastructure, or that a lot of the programs that we're used to looking at use heavily. So if you're looking at iMovie,
there's services that are built into the Mac. So many of these programs, we don't have to write all this stuff from scratch.
Exactly.
We just use what's already there.
Exactly. It makes it much easier for a developer to develop a graphics application on a Mac because they have, and there's ones for audio, there's ones for animation, there's effects for video, they call these, core video, and then Quartz is just one piece of this, but there's core video, core audio, core animation, and those are largely for the programming. Quartz is something that you can actually play with.
What is it? It's special effects. I mean,
yeah, it can be anything. Let me open up Quartz.
Show us some Quartz stuff.
So here inside
this is a program that comes with Xcode.
Right. So it comes with basically if I open up, I've developed in the developer folder, I'll see applications and I have Xcode. That's if I really want to write code. Then I have Quartz Composer, I have Interface Builder, I have Dash Code, so I can build dashboard widgets.
Programming tools.
So I'm going to open up Quartz Composer.
Okay.
And we're just going to start with something pretty simple. And what I want to kind of show here is how to kind of start dissecting this, because if we open up this is a very basic piece. Now this is what Quartz Composer allows you to do is play with effects without having to write any code. You don't have to know anything about coding. You do have to think logically. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. But you don't have to know any syntax. You don't have to know how to write those things. They're just simple operations, much like a nodal compositor, which we've talked about in Photoshop or Shake or anything else. So what you have here is you have inputs and you have processing units, and then you have the output, which is what we're seeing here. So we're seeing the output here. When I click on this, you can now see that this is kind of a real-time effect on these little flowers here. Now what's happening, and what you want to look at if you want to start playing with this, is so why is this doing this? And this is how I learned how to program, and how a lot of people learn how to do HTML code. Is you look at what's happening, you change some things, and then you see what happens.
Yeah.
So you do the same thing in Quartz Composer. So you go in here. Let's pull this out. Let's just pull this little.
So you're unplugging that particular.
This one that says Y optional. Yeah. I'm going to let go. And now when I go in here, I can't. It doesn't have any effect on the Y. So obviously, what this is, whatever this is, it's taking the information of the Y position of my mouse, and it's applying it to this effect.
The up-down vertical axis.
Right. So I now understand what that node is. I can extrapolate very quickly what.
You've also learned something else, which is that's how you connect into and make a change to it.
Right. So we can now. The other thing is you'll notice that some of these boxes are rounded.
Yeah.
And some of them have square edges.
Okay.
If I double click on a square edge, that's actually a whole operation that's been built into what we call a macro. So that macro is, so there's a bunch of operations, and
square edges are made up of a bunch of round edges.
Right, and if I hit this little edit parent here, it'll pop back up one layer, so I can see it here. So if I open it up again, you'll see these little dark dots here.
Yeah.
These dark dots, image, X, and Y. If I go back up, are image, X, and Y.
Those are the inputs.
Right, so they're telling you, you don't have to do anything with these. These are coming in from outside.
Okay. There's the image, the daisy image. Yeah. X, Y is from the mouse.
Exactly. And what's interesting about this is that it keeps on getting deeper because I can double click on this.
And that's a macro too.
And here's another macro that is doing another operation. So what I can do here is I can start to play with it. If I go in here, I can
even disconnect these little things.
I can disconnect this, for instance, and see what happens. And now once again,
oh, that's the Y number.
That's the Y again, but this is splitting it out so that you can do separate operations with it. Now there's an inspector. So if I want to look at what's actually going on here, I can click on this and I can go into the patch inspector here and open it up, and what it's doing is it's taking the initial value of 480, and it is multiplying to the position that I'm giving it, which is and so now what I can do is if I hit divide, I have a whole different effect.
Now we don't necessarily know why.
Well,
you might want to speculate on that, but
the speculation is that it's now dividing. What it's doing is it's dividing the position of the Y position instead of multiplying the Y position. So it's unable to. Now I can. There's a lot of other. I can subtract. So and the point is that as you start to play with it, this is how a lot of times when you think of a web designer, these are the simple operations that you do to start unwinding why these things are doing what they're doing. This isn't one of those things this isn't an operation that's kind of a quick, here's a tip on how to use Photoshop necessarily, or here's how to get something out the other end. It's an exploration tool.
Yeah,
that
it's really fun. I mean, it's a really amazing tool.
And what's great is that you get this real-time feedback of what's actually happening, and that iteration rate of being able to look at this and play with it. Keep on. And there are a lot of. This is just the beginning of this. This process. There's a lot of nodes. And some of them are composite nodes. These are how to do different blending modes that we see in Photoshop. So we can take an image, do the effects, and then apply it back. Controllers, so that you can have MIDI controllers. You can actually fire all of the stuff into this piece. It's really like Lego Mindstorms almost, but for graphics. And so it's definitely something that is worth playing with.
Very cool.
Especially
since it's free.
It's free, and it really is. You'll learn a lot about how graphics get put together, how these operations come together, and it's a great preparation. What a lot of programmers use it for actually is figuring out an operation. So they'll sit there and play with this without having to write any code, and once they've gotten it working, then they write all the code that makes it much more efficient.
Right. Free with your Mac, but you do have to install the developer tools. We have details on how to do that on our show notes, labwithleo.com, and also a link to the Pixel Core, pixelcore.tv for the podcast, pixelcore.com for the Guild. Highly recommend it.
We're going to start getting deeper into stuff like this in MacBreak as well, which is at pixelcore.tv. We're launching, in March, we're going to be launching MacBreak Dev, which is going to be dealing with Quartz and Xcode and Automator and AppleScript. So definitely check it out.
Check it out, pixelcore.tv. All right, we're going to take a break. Come back in just a little bit. Akash Sablok is here. He's going to fill your tires. He's going to tune your radio. He's got gadgets for the road coming up. Road trip as the lab continues. First of all, though, a close-up look. Oh, everybody knows what that is, but who is it? I'll tell you what. We'll zoom out and find out as the lab continues. Welcome back to the lab. All right, I know it's an eyeball, but whose eyeball? I'm thinking Brianna. Or Chuck. We call him Chuck D because he has such ladylike eyes. Okay, let's get another call on the air. I'm in trouble now. If you can't hear me later in this segment, you'll know why. He's our sound guy. Brianna?
This is Joy. She's from Sydney.
Hi, Joy from Sydney. How are you?
Hello.
Great to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Is that your beautiful family behind you?
Yes, my kids.
You're showing them all off. Well, what can I do for you, Joy?
I bought a new iMac desktop and an iBook, and they're both working wirelessly with my AirPort Extreme.
Good.
But I also want to connect my old Sony Vaio. Is it possible?
Absolutely. The good news about Wi-Fi is is not an Apple standard. It's not a Microsoft standard. It's a universal standard. So it works with Linux. It works with Mac. It works with Windows. And it shouldn't matter who you buy your Wi-Fi access point from. It could be it could be a Macintosh, or an Apple product, but it could also be an IBM product, or it could be a Microsoft product. It shouldn't matter. Now, there are a couple of little tiny things that can make a difference. Are you using encryption on your access point?
Did
you turn on the encryption feature, WPA or WEP?
No.
Okay. Do turn that on, WPA. Most people don't run into this, but Apple does WEP passwords differently than Microsoft does.
Okay.
In the Apple Airport Administration tool, if you dig deep enough, you'll find show Windows version of this. It's a different, your password might be monkey. It shouldn't be something that simple, but let's say, for example, it's monkey on the Mac. It would be on Windows, it would be X3794A342. It would be more complicated. So, but Apple will tell you, it'll translate that simple English password into the it's what it is a hexadecimal version of it that Windows uses. You know what? If you're not using that WEP encryption, and you shouldn't anyway, that's not going to be a problem. All you need to do is make sure you have a Wi-Fi access card in your VIO. I presume you do, yes?
Okay, yep.
Okay, and you should be able to then open it up, search for the access point. You should see it, whatever you named it, Joy's access point, and then you select it. If there's no password, it won't ask for a password, you'll be online.
Okay.
It's that simple. Have you had trouble with it?
I tried a little bit, but I haven't tried it
Yeah, if you don't have the confidence that you know it's going to work, it's kind of like, well, it will work.
Okay.
It will work. So you may have to play around with it a little bit. It will work, I promise you.
Yeah.
Just because it's Apple doesn't mean it's not compatible with Windows. Okay?
All right, okay.
Hey, thank you, Joy.
Thank you, Lenny.
I'm so glad you watched the show.
Yes, we do. We love you.
Oh, well, we love you. I can't wait to visit Sydney soon, I hope.
Yes.
Yay! Take care, Joy. Coming up, a Catch the Block with some great road trip gadgets, and we're going to knock your socks off, show you how you could write your own Xbox game. The lab continues in just a little bit, but first, I want to do a Ewell's Jewel.
Yes.
A free file of the day.
Awesome.
Yes. What do you got for me?
It's Windows and it's a game.
It's a Windows game.
And it's called Warning Forever.
Warning Forever.
And now I'll set it up. You're a ship, it's a shooter, but there's only boss battles. It's boss battle after boss battle after boss battle.
Now, let's explain for people who aren't gamers like you, that normally in a video game you go through some easy stuff, it gets a little harder. At the end of a level, there's a
big boss.
Big boss.
And so this one is just boss after boss. And you'll see in this info screen, before you fight every boss, there's this information where you see there's rear, defense, and so it tells you what the defense and what the front and the core, it gives you information.
Like what the weaknesses would be?
What the weaknesses are. So I'm just going to fire it up here, and we're going to start...
is the game always kind of the same, or is it...
It keeps switching up, so the bosses start getting bigger and badder. So this is the first level. So,
This reminds me of, is it Galaxian? What is the game it's reminding me of?
There's a few shooters that have been like this. Like Galaxian is something maybe not quite as similar, but just a shooter. So see,
but you're flying through space.
And every time the bosses get harder and harder. So he's a bit bigger, different weapons. It's
all bosses all the time. And this is free?
It's absolutely free.
That's neat.
So and you get more weapons.
What's he doing? That was
we lost him there. Did
it crash?
No, I hit escape by accident. See, my gaming days, I'm like getting old and senile.
You're losing the twitch.
I'm losing.
You're losing it, man.
But you get different weapons, and it's just boss battle after boss battle. So people that like their shooters, it's a lot of fun.
That looks like fun. I like that kind of game. What's that called again?
It's called Warning Forever. You go to labwithleo.com, hit free files. You'll find that. You'll find other games. You'll find things a little bit more productive.
You ever get a flat tire on the highway?
Never on the highway. Actually, yeah, once I did. It was scary.
Gosh, that's something you might want to see. It'll inflate your tire for you.
But make sure you get it fixed after, because you can't run it on that.
You know that!
Someone ran it on for 2 years. They didn't know it was filled with it.
That's a big mistake.
Yeah, it cost them a lot of money.
Yeah. And also, we're going to write you want to see this because you're a gamer. Write your own games for the Xbox.
There you go.
It's going to be very cool. Road trip coming up and Xbox games as the lab continues. But first, our quickest question of the day. How many Star Wars movies did George Lucas direct? Oh, that's easy. Was it 6? Or no, maybe it was 5. Well, it could have been 4. Was it none? Maybe he didn't direct any? I don't know. Think about it. We'll come back with the answer as the lab continues. Welcome back to the lab. Cash the Block is back. He's a technology journalist at andnowyouknow.net and always brings us fun toys and gadgets. This time they're all kind of portable.
Yeah, sort of traveling, doing something, coming back and enjoying your trip, basically.
Cool.
So
where do we start?
This is the Griffin Autopilot. This is the latest version of a charger and control for your iPod.
So it doesn't have the FM transmitter. That's the iTrip.
Yeah.
This just plugs into the cigarette lighter, lets you control it.
Yes.
And then this connects to your iPod.
That
so
way
it's always charging.
It's always charging. You don't have to hold your iPod in front of you, and the display will actually light up, and you can control it.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and it comes with an extra cable too. So if you want to hook up to the auxiliary port of it,
that's it. Yeah, there you go.
Most vehicles have, so you get a very clear sound.
See, and nowadays you don't need those as much. You don't need those FM transmitters since so many vehicles do have those iPod connectors. So that's what this is for.
Yes.
But if you don't have that iPod connector,
it works really well. So if you don't have that, this is the new road trip.
This is nice.
This is very nice. It's got an OLED display.
This is a beautiful. We can't really show you because it's not plugged in, but it's bright blue and beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful. It's so easy on the eyes. Even in bright sunlight, you can see it clearly.
Right.
Smart Scan technology will automatically find the 3 weakest stations in your area.
Yep.
And they'll set it on preset.
It's nice. I mean, I have to say that if you live in an urban area that has a lot of stations, like Toronto, for instance, the FM transmitters don't work as well. I have trouble in San Francisco. But if you live in a less urban area, this is really a great thing.
And you know, when I've been on trips where I've been driving and the signal automatically becomes strong of the
Easy
station,
to fix.
you push a button and it finds the 3 weakest again.
It'll scan again. This plugs into your cigarette lighter. I like it too because it just docks right there. Cigarette lighter kind of holds it.
And it comes with different bases for all the types of iPods. And in fact, if you have a 30 or a 60 or an 80 gig iPod video, it'll actually stream the video to your video system of your car.
You're kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Oh, that's a nice feature. Oh, that's really cool. So how much is that?
The autopilot is $50 and the road trip is $100.
So depending on what your connection is in your car, you'll pick the one that's right for you.
Want to go.
Now this I recognize. This is a Zune.
This is the Zune, the 80 gig.
Boy, they've really dropped the price though. That's amazing.
They have $249 for an 80 gig.
80 gigs, and this has great video on it and everything.
250 hours of video, about 20,000 songs you can put on this thing.
Wow, that's really.
But the cool thing is if you have a friend who's got a Zune, you can share your music.
Yeah.
They can play it up to 3 times. Mm-hmm. You know, if they like it, they could bookmark it, and next time they go to their computer, and they can download it as well.
It's pretty neat. Yeah. We played with that, and Warren said he was sure it wouldn't work, and it worked. I was stunned.
Well, you know, the Zune has taken the approach that music is social.
Right.
So they've gone to that whole thing that, here's your device, and you have it, and your music, everything on there. But the whole idea is to share with everybody around you.
Let's see. Let's play a little video. This is the Zune video here. Welcome to the social video.
Yep.
Oh, sideways. Although you could turn it sideways. Some video is this wide way like this. It really is a nice looking screen. They didn't.
3.2-inch screen, quite bright.
Yeah. It's a Zune. But they're getting better.
Yep.
Now this, I've been waiting for this. What is this?
So you're traveling. This is the Black & Decker VPX system. So it runs off their single lithium-ion battery that they have, which works in their drill.
When you were here before, you showed us that. It's a great idea. So you charge up once, but you can run a variety of different devices.
It's a wonderful system because the battery actually holds its power for about a year if you don't use it. So
really?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about keeping it charged all the time.
So you pop the battery in here.
Pop the battery in here, plug it in, and watch it's loud.
It's a compressor.
Compressor, yeah.
Is it really enough to pump up a tire?
Oh, easily.
Wow.
And this piece actually here was really cool. It stores right into it.
So this would be great. I'm going to get this for my wife because she doesn't know how to change tires. This could really be a boon for her.
Keep it in the car.
Yeah.
But there's one bigger thing, especially for summer. It comes with a needle, so if you want to inflate tires or
soccer balls.
A soccer ball, or you go to the beach.
That's a great idea.
And that just pops right out.
And that's the VPX battery here.
Just pull it. There you go.
So you charge that in the VPX charger.
Yep.
They're smart. This is going to be a whole system, isn't it?
Yeah. The inflator itself is about $50.
Okay.
The battery and the charger come in a separate kit for about $70, $80.
Yeah, but then you can use it with other devices.
Anything.
Right.
Anything.
Very cool. That is from Black & Decker.
Black & Decker. So you've traveled, say you go into the hockey rink, okay? This is the latest coolest thing. This is a thermoblade. It's a Canadian invention. Now what this actually does is,
these are skate blades. I recognize
that. Blades. Do you see a little light glowing there?
Yeah. What's going on
there? They're powered. There's actually a battery and a circuit in here.
Do they heat up?
It heats up.
Is it going to be hot?
No, it's not that hot. It's only 5 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
It's 5 degrees Celsius. And what it actually does is it reduces your effort of skating about 10%.
Right. I remember reading that's how you skate, that the pressure from these thin blades actually melts the ice as you skate over it, and that's what you're gliding on. But a little extra help there, 5 degrees, is going to make a big difference. Yeah.
Right. And Wayne Gretzky is actually a shareholder in the company that makes this.
Interesting. So these will fit on any skates, or do you have to buy special skates?
No,
for them?
any state. This is size 9, but any size that you have, and it has to be professionally installed.
Yeah, I can see that, because they're going to put it right on the
Yeah,
on the boot.
it comes with a charger, so you can leave your boot and just charge it right on here. And one charge will last you about 70 minutes, more than enough for a game and a practice.
That's really great.
Yeah, it's a really cool device. I can't wait to get on the ice with these things.
I hope it doesn't make it too slippery.
No, and that's the thing. It does not affect. It just gives you.
You still have the traction.
Exactly. Yeah,
amazing.
that's what your blade is doing. It just gives you a little bit easier glide, and you know, in these days, especially a little bit more advantage, right?
A couple miles an hour faster, and you're going.
Okay, so
now, that's a camera. I see that. I recognize that. I'm good.
It's low tech, but almost high tech. It is a standard camera. It's a film camera.
Looks like a disposable.
It is a disposable. It's one of the most compact disposable. Here, I'll show you. It's one of the most compact disposables I've ever seen. This is the Kodak HQ.
Is there film in it?
There's film in there, 27 exposure, 800 ASA.
Okay.
Right? But you know the coolest thing is that there's just some times when you need a disposable camera.
Right.
For weddings, birthdays
We
and
gave
stuff.
these, at our wedding, we gave one to everybody at every table, and we got so many good pictures back. It was a really nice
Some
thing.
pictures you don't want.
Well, we hid those from the kids.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
That's really nice.
It's got the Kodak Exynar lens, and of course the built-in flash.
So film isn't dead. There are still some uses where film is a good
$4
thing.
for that. So.
What? Really?
$4. Yeah. You know, even if you're going on a trip and you're worried about taking your expensive digital camera.
Yeah, you're not going to give them 30 digital cameras on the tables, but you might put 30 of those on the tables. That's great.
So if you take those pictures and you get them converted to digital, most places where you take your pictures down,
they give you a CD.
They give you a CD. 11-inch frame. This is by Allurtech.
That looks really nice.
$200 for 11-inch frame.
Wow.
Okay. Comes with a remote control.
Okay.
Now the cool thing I like about this is you can set up a calendar, a time. So if you know you're at your desk from 9 to 5 every single day, it'll only turn on at that time.
Oh, so it doesn't waste energy.
It'll shut down by itself.
That's a good idea. And now this allows you to put in memory cards to give it the
memory card, USB connection. It's got a built-in 1 gigabyte memory.
Its own storage.
So if you connect to your computer, you can download your photos up to 1 gig. You get a lot of
That's a lot of pictures. Yeah. I'm just thinking maybe I could load it up, send it to Grandma.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
Might be calling a little while later to reload
I want more pictures. Your kids are now 12 years old. That's from Allurtech.
Allurtech, yes.
Some great stuff. If you want to know more about Akash, he's online at andnowyouknow.net.
Yes.
And he stops by from time to time, always with great fun toys.
Fun for me.
All right. We're going to take a break. Coming up in just a bit, a great game programmer. He wrote Homeworld 2 and many other games you know. He's working on Xbox Live games, and he's going to show us how we can write them ourselves. When the lab continues. Welcome back to the lab. I'm Leo Laporte. Brianna, you have another caller for us?
I do. This is Melissa from Melbourne.
Hello, Melissa. How are you today?
Hi, very good, thank you.
Now, there's a great picture and a great smile. Welcome to the show. What can I do for you?
We have been trying to get VoIP running through a Netcom VoIP router, and it doesn't seem to recognize the SIP proxy. What do you recommend we try there?
Well, that's a terrible thing. It doesn't recognize the SIP proxy. Funny thing is, what are we using right now? We're using Skype, which is VoIP, isn't it? But you want to use the VoIP service provided by, is it by your phone company that provides this, or just a company in Australia?
By our ISP.
Your internet service provider, okay. So what SIP is the signaling protocol. It's how a VoIP phone calls another phone. So now, as usual with error messages you get from computers, it's not a very useful error message. I don't know what you should do about that. It's something's wrong is what it should say. I can't make a call. So you're hooking it up to your broadband, right?
That's right.
And you hook a phone into the voice adapter that you hook up into the broadband.
Yep.
And when you try to make a call,
we haven't tried it.
Go ahead.
We haven't tried it recently. We've just tried to see if we get the signal.
Yeah. It's possible that the account wasn't set up, and clearly this is a call for your internet service provider, the people providing that terminal adapter. That error message is meaningless to me. It's meaningless to everybody. I mean, I can tell you what it means, but it doesn't tell you what to do about it, right? It's something wrong with the signaling. So the real question is, is the box working? If it is working, is there something different that you have to do? Do you have a router?
It's a VoIP router. It's a Netcom NB9W VoIP router.
Right.
And everything else seems to work fine. The wireless is working. The Ethernet's working, just not the VoIP.
Yeah. something's wrong with the VoIP module, you have to take it back to the ISP. There's no magic fix on that one. Because the reason I asked if you had a router, if it's in between your voice adapter and your internet access, sometimes the router can cause a problem. But because this is a router itself, I would presume it's properly configured not to get in the way of the voice over the internet. So it's, I'm afraid I can't help you. It's one for your internet service provider, I'm sorry to say.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. And I just thought I'd run it past you, run it past the expert there.
I'm glad you did, and it's great to see you. And this is the irony of it. We're using voice over the internet right now. We're using Skype, and it works beautifully. I have to say, more and more, I'm convinced that Skype is the future of VoIP, not these solutions provided by phone companies and internet service providers. Because Skype works.
Yeah, no, beautifully. Thank you so much anyway.
Thank you, Melissa. Great to talk to you.
Alrighty.
Take care. Bye-bye. Let's get over to Sean. He's got a shiny for us. Well, what is your shiny for today?
Well, I've got something from a company called Yogi, maybe. I don't know.
We don't know.
But they started out calling this the Yogi Pico Pro, and now it's called the Gateway Pico Pro.
Okay, let me guess what it does. No idea. You plug it into your USB port, a blue light comes on.
That's pretty much it.
You get something on your screen with meters and dials. I don't know, what's it doing?
Well, we've been talking for a long time about security on the show.
Device?
It is a security device. So, people always ask, what firewall should I get? What anti-spyware? What antivirus? All of that stuff. And as you have said in the past, sometimes you don't necessarily want to put all of this as software on your machine.
Right.
You want it to be dealt with in a hardware way.
It's on the little USB key anyway.
What this is the little 500 or so megahertz Linux machine inside there. And it's a stateful inspection firewall.
I like that.
And it has all the tools you need to actually stop all of these attacks as they're coming in.
Now, here's my little issue with this Yogi. The internet's not going through it, it's going into the computer. So really all the Yogi's doing is launching software on your computer.
What it's doing is it's creating, integrating itself into your system, into your Windows system as a networking device. So it'll route your network traffic through it, essentially.
Okay.
So you unplug it, it doesn't,
that might work.
No networking happens. And that's one of the problems with this.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Let me see the box. I think. How much is this?
Well, this is right here. There's several different versions. This is the Pro version. Are you okay?
I'm all right. I just swallowed something wrong, I think.
Thank you very much there, Warren, with my specialty.
This is full service hero. This one right here is about $190. This is the Pro version. There's
wow, that's a little pricey.
Yeah, there's lower end versions that you can get for just over $100, and you can go to higher end devices. This one is meant to be portable, but Yogi also does devices that are full high end ones for inside the office.
I kind of like the idea. So if I understand it, the security software is not running on the PC. It's just a little network redirects that redirects the stuff through there.
Right, and so what we're looking at here on the screen here is a status screen. So you can launch this client, which will open up a web browser and check the memory and the system that's running on this little key.
Now, it says it has an antivirus. Is the antivirus in the Yogi, and it runs everything through that antivirus?
Yeah, if it sees activity that is antivirus-like or is virus-like or anything that is like that, it'll just stop it right at that hardware before it allows it to get through to the system. Now, the reports here are kind of nice, and we don't have a whole lot of activity here. So it's all done. It looks like it's in Flash.
It also has the parental control.
So all of the stuff you need is on here.
How do you update it?
Well, that's a really good question. I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet.
If it's not updatable, then that makes me a little nervous because, of course, nothing's perfect. Everything has to be updated.
There's flash memory on there, so I'm assuming that
they could download.
They would push an upgrade to that from the
And you'd have to anyway because of the antivirus definitions. You'd always have to download new definitions.
Right.
Wow, this is a very interesting. I've never heard of this.
Yeah. So it also has VPN capabilities, email filtering.
All we've got to do, we've got to run this by Steve Gibson.
Yeah, I'd like to see what he says. I mean, it sounds too good to be true, and I would really love this to be something that was easy to use.
I would too. I think we need this kind of device. Normally I recommend, you're right, hardware stuff, but it's usually something that is in between you and the outside world. This is kind of saying to Windows, okay, don't look at it, don't touch it, route it through me first, and then you can see it.
Don't make it Windows problem. Now, this particular device is not meant to be used at home. I mean, you could theoretically use it at home, but this is meant for people in the field who aren't sitting behind their own firewall, who don't have their security set up at home.
If I'm on the road, right?
So you just yank it out of there. It disables networking altogether, and there you can change a setting on here.
Wow.
Then you just put it in a pocket like this, and away you go.
Requires Windows.
It requires Windows, so Mac users probably won't need all this protection anyways.
Well,
Some of it.
someday we will.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the pros and cons. Your shinies and dulls, as you say.
There we go. So it has all of that anti-stuff that you need for security. How well it works, I'm not 100% sure, but it does look pretty impressive.
You said it was more than $80, I thought.
No, it was it's $190.
Okay, so we got the price wrong on the screen there. So $190. That makes more sense.
Yeah. So from a dull perspective,
the negative.
Yeah, there's some stuff I don't like about that. It may not work without it. So if you lose the thing, it kills your networking on this system.
That's for safety.
For safety. But you can disable it in the client, so you're not 100%
You are
on.
safe, but you can't get online.
Yeah, and it does hang off the side of your machine when it's in use, so you can knock it out.
I think this is a unique and interesting approach to security, and I would like some of our security wizards to bang on this a little bit. But in principle, it makes a lot of sense. And because it's hardware, it's much less vulnerable. Yogi Pico. And I might try this on the road and just see if it can protect me. Give it to Steve, see what he says. All right, we're going to take a break. Coming up in just a little bit, an Xbox Live game. How to make your very own Xbox Live game. This is so exciting because I am a big fan of this guy's games. But first, our quick quiz question of the day. How many game of the day? What did I say? How many Star Wars movies did George Lucas direct? Now, there's a little trick there. Start thinking, which movies did he direct? We'll tell you when the lab continues. Welcome back to the lab. Before the break, we asked you, how many Star Wars movies did that Lucas fella direct? Well, I know he did the first few. I think it was, what you said, 5 and 6 he did not do? Revenge of the Jedi? Return of the Jedi, I mean.
Yeah, and Empire Strikes Back.
And Empire Strikes Back. See, I really wasn't following that. So 4 out of the possible 6.
Yeah, the worst 3 in the first one.
There was only one good one, but if I said that, if I admitted that in public, I'd be in deep trouble, so I better not say. We want to welcome Nick Wanders. He is the founder of Slick Entertainment, but for many years, a well-known game programmer at Relic. You did Homeworld 2, which is an amazing, awesome, wonderful game. Dawn of War and The Outfit. But now you're doing it for yourself, which I love.
Yeah.
How has that been?
It's been quite the ride, actually. It's really fun. You go from a huge company to a tiny company with 2 people, which is, it's got all the stress and all the really fun bits of small companies. So yeah,
that's exciting.
It's totally exciting.
I suppose all programmers start with a small company themselves, right?
Yeah, I mean...
When did you start writing games? Were you a kid?
Oh, yeah, I don't even remember. It was on the C64, and my dad got one, and
In the Commodore Basic?
Yeah. And, type all this stuff in and go run and error. And you just go through it again, and, so this was probably when I was 11 or 12 or something.
Just a little kid, and you fell in love with it.
Yeah.
So some kids fall in love with playing games, some write them.
Yeah, well, I kind of...
You did both
ways, yeah.
You have to love games to write games, I think.
Yeah, I think it shows. If you really like games, the love of the game itself, it shows in your creation. So
I would guess game programming is among the most challenging programming of all. You're doing it in real time. You're doing heavy-duty graphics. There's a lot of intelligence that you have to build into these things nowadays. I can't imagine a whole lot more difficult things except maybe launching rockets. I don't know.
Well, I don't really know how to make databases, so
believe me, you got it all over database programmers. So you had an existing PC game, a Flash game, developed by a company called N, right?
MetaNet. Yeah.
MetaNet. So the game was N.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
It's actually a really fun kind of load runnery. It's a ninja game.
Totally. Yeah. I've got a little example here I can show you. So
you can still get this and play it on Windows and Mac. It's really fun.
You go to thewayoftheninja.org and you can download it. And it's just a little ninja. You can jump around and collect coins. And basically the goal of the game is, it'll probably take me a little while here, but the goal of the game is to get to the switch in the top left corner there.
That's the hard part.
See if I can actually do this. I haven't played this for a while.
You're pretty good at it. Would you say the guys who write the games are usually good at it or not?
Oh, no. The people that are really good at it are the testers. Oh, my
we
God.
know that.
Yeah. The final version, like the Xbox Live Arcade version, has 450 levels or something like that.
Oh,
and
man.
They have to play through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And every time we give them a new version, they play through the whole thing in like 4 hours. It's mind-blowing.
They're very good. They've got the thumbs for it.
Yeah.
Now, there's some neat things about this. It is a little bit of a load runner game, but there's a lot of physics, I noticed.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. This was the thing we wanted to get really right, because that's what makes this game. It's just the way the physics are implemented. It's just really fun to jump around and like there's some
He's got inertia. And he floats.
And he slides and floats. And that's what we wanted to get really, really right. And that was, basically that's why we took the code of this and basically ported it to the Xbox.
And now this is written in Flash.
This is Flash, yeah.
And you had to write for the Xbox. What do you have to write it in?
C++.
So it's a whole, I mean, it's not like you could say, oh, this does this, this does this. You have to start over.
Pretty much, yeah. And then also we added multiplayer, and there's none of that in Flash, so that was quite big to add.
You added Live, the capability to use Xbox Live.
Exactly, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that process. What does that involve?
Basically, you start off with the libraries that they provide you, and you build your game on top of that. Now,
is writing for the Xbox kind of like writing for Windows? I mean,
it is.
It's
very,
basically
very
a Windows box, isn't it?
But the good thing is there's one hardware specification. You don't have to deal with 10,000 different video cards.
You only have to work with that video card, that processor. You know exactly how much memory you have.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a little bit more straightforward.
Yeah, but there's also the one thing that
the
Xbox
limitations.
has. Yeah, you have all these rules that you have to adhere to, and they're very strict.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And now, before you start writing the game, do you talk to Microsoft because you need to get certified by them? They won't let you put it on the Xbox.
No, yeah, you have to have it all greenlit by them. So you start off with the greenlit process, and you give them, okay, this is what we want to make, and they tell you yes or no. And if they say yes, then you start developing, and you have a bunch of milestones you have to go through. And in the end, there's a certification. That's the hard bit.
The irony is they're going to start opening up the Xbox to Flash games and stuff through Xbox Live. People can use XNA to write their own games. All of a sudden, everybody, and Plus could be written in kind of again through XNA.
Yeah.
So they've come full circle.
Totally, yeah. And this is actually kind of, we wish we had XNA back then. When we created this, there was no XNA yet. So
tell us, for people who don't know what XNA is, and I don't know, all I know is it makes it easier to write games for Xbox, yeah?
Yeah, it's basically a whole development suite that they developed to making games easier.
Instead of C++, you'll use their language, C#.
Exactly.
And so forth.
Their libraries and stuff.
Their libraries, yeah.
All right.
Next game will be XNA for you?
Maybe, yeah. We're still sort of evaluating what we want to do. So,
can we turn around and look at the Xbox version of this? You've got the controller right there. So this is the port. Now you're playing against other players. How do you play against other players in this game? Are there two ninjas on the screen? Or?
Yeah.
So you're racing against each other.
Up right now.
No, that's okay. But you'd race against each other?
Yeah. There's here. I'll show you the quick lowdown of the multiplayer.
What I love is that you kept the style, the kind of retro style of the characters and everything, the bitmaps characters.
This was very important to the original makers, so
that's how we
really tried to keep it. So as you can see, we have co-op mode. We have which are all the single player levels. You can all play together. We have co-op multiplayer, which is really cool because now you have to actually cooperate to finish the level. And we have race, where you just race to the end, and whoever is first wins. And survival, which is just last man standing. It's destruction.
And there's no shooting in this game, really, though. There are obstacles, though. You can get squished very easily. You can even fall in this game, which I found out almost immediately.
Yeah, if you fall down here, there's a little mine here. I don't know if you can see it. It's tiny,
don't step on that. Oh, you blew him up! So it's a simple game, but as you know what, sometimes the simpler games are more fun and the gameplay is better. It's a real challenging game.
It's just a fun little game that you can just pick up for a little bit. Yeah, you can jump walls, and you're a real ninja, Ninjas can jump walls. So
I can tell he has a red scarf. That makes him a ninja. Look at that. Up the wall.
Collect some coins. Coins are money, or time in the top there, and then you basically try to get to the exit.
Now, nowadays, kids don't have Commodore 64s. They don't have Commodore Basic. How are kids getting into gaming nowadays?
I guess XNA is pretty good, actually. XNA
so that's what you'd recommend?
Right now, that's what I would recommend.
So they can download that from Microsoft?
Yep, it's all free downloadable.
And you run it on a PC?
Yes, you do.
And then how do you get the games over to the Xbox?
Well, this is actually a development kit, but the normal retail Xbox kit actually comes with I think it's like $100 for there's a subscription to be able to put your games on. So then you would
upload your games and others could play them?
And then you upload them and they get peer reviewed, and then it's quite good.
So if there's a kid out there who's thinking about getting into gaming, that's
the way to go.
That's the way to go now. Is XNA? Is it? It's not quite Commodore Basic in terms of the ease of learning.
There's the good thing about back in the C64 times, there was no internet. You couldn't find it anywhere. Now there's tons of examples everywhere, and seriously, you can build a game just by copy paste.
And people to help you too.
Oh yeah. There's a community.
You can ask questions. What art tools do you use? There's programming in every game, but there's also you have to design, you have to draw, you have to have levels.
Exactly. Yeah. So we basically built a bunch of our own tools.
So you have a level designer for yourself. This is used internally, not. Yeah. Oh, that's neat.
This is actually the character editor, so this is not the level designer, but this will show you.
Do you start writing this Is that the first thing you write of a game? Is the level and the character designers?
We started with this first, yeah. I mean, there's different ways of doing it, but like we like to have decent tools so that later on when we have to worry about all the bug fixes, that's when we can just go, okay.
Is it like two different teams? So there's a team that's working on the engine and a team that's working on levels and character design and all that stuff?
Yeah, except you got to replace team with person.
There's two of you.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
But this is a nice tool, I have to say. I've seen level designers. You've done a nice job here. You made it really beautiful.
We try to get it as workable as possible, because in the end, you don't want to spend time on your tool anymore. You want to spend time on bugs, right? Yeah. So this is an example of the little ninja running around. It's a bit slow motion, but
it kind of has a Flash feel to it, though. Huh?
Yeah, this is actually traced from the Flash version, but this is a skeleton with the little polygons hooked up to it, and you can play different animations here. So these are all the animations that basically get called by the code. Right. So
you have to make them little library routines, little chunks.
Exactly.
That you say, okay, now move this way, now move that way.
Let's see if we have another one here. You notice that the colors are like bright green and bright red and bright blue. That's because then we replace them in game with the actual color scheme. So yeah.
Why is that? Why don't you do it red and red scarf and gray guy to begin with?
We could have done that. This was just easier because it's RGB, right? Like max value or max value.
Just do those colors.
Yeah.
I tell you, what's exciting about what you're telling me now is it doesn't have to be a giant company with hundreds of people. Two guys can create a really great game.
So if you want to make Homeworld, you need a big team.
Yeah.
If you want to make 10, you can do it with two people.
And that's exciting. And really, if somebody's learning to write games, you should start with this kind of game, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it teaches you everything you need to know, especially the multiplayer part. Like I learned that the hard way. It is not easy.
No,
but it's a good way to learn it. Yeah. Totally, yeah.
Because you don't know what's going to happen. That's the problem. In this world, it's a constrained world. You know exactly what's going to happen next. You don't know what that other guy's going to do.
Exactly. Maybe you unplug this cable. You know?
Yeah. Nick Wanders is a programmer, founder of Slick Entertainment. Their new game is it out for Xbox Live yet? Or
This one is out for Xbox Live right now.
So I can download it through Xbox Live?
You can download it with whether you have a gold account or a silver account. Doesn't matter. You can go online and
my Xbox red ringed, but as soon as I get it back...
I heard it a lot.
I bet you do. As soon as I get it back, I'm getting N+. Thank you so much, Nick. It's great to meet you.
My pleasure.
I hope you get a little bit inspired to do a little game design of your own. If you do, let us know. I'd love to meet some of you younger kids who are making games today using XNA. Yeah, isn't that cool? SlickEntertainment.com. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll have final words for you right after this. The lab continues. Stay here. Welcome back to the lab. Look at that. What is that shot? Has got like a little slideshow on it.
It's a bonus shiny for you this episode.
That's extra shiny.
Yeah, this is the My Eye button, and what it is essentially is it's a tiny little media player.
Oh, that's really cute.
That's designed to hang on your chest. So if you're at a conference and you want to show off who you are or what your company does, you can essentially load in via USB a whole pile of content.
But they also sell these to attach to the front of it?
You can get little templates to put over top to, for whatever you're doing for that day.
Fancy name tags.
Yeah. If you saw somebody walking around like that, would you think they would? Yeah, okay. Just checking. Getting a reality check.
It does video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it does video too?
It does video, it does music.
Does it have audio?
It has audio as well.
Very cool. So do we. We thank you for being here. We hope you will come back again. And if you want to be on the show, we invite you to go to our website. What is that site again there?
Labwithleo.com.
See, she knows. Labwithleo.com. You fill out the form and Brianna will call you and get you on the show. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time on The Lab. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.